to go ahead and call the October 9th, 2025 State Board of Education meeting to order. If you will, please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. So we'll stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we actually have a special treat. We have a choir from Bryant here to sing our national anthem for us today. And we also have a student from the ASL. Is that correct? That's going to sign for us as well. Please stand.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, the land of the free, and the home of God,
Now, would you like to talk about your choir? I would love to hear more about them, please. Hi.
Aaron Oglesby, and I'm the director of choirs at Bryant Public Schools, and I will take any opportunity I can to talk about these kids because they're so special, as you can hear. We have about 200 kids in our choir program, and these are 8 singers from our top ensemble, many of them all-state singers, as you can hear. We're so thankful to be here today and represent Bryant and to represent our honorees from Bryant today. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much for coming.
Good morning. I'm here from Parkview High School, and I brought the ASL 3 students who are seniors with 1 junior. And when we got the opportunity to come and sign the national anthem, it was so befitting because we were working on preserved sources, and the national anthem is one. So we had already had a unit on it, so we were more than prepared to come. And so I had Brooklyn Malvern, and she did the best. And so she happily accepted, and so we're here, and she did an amazing job, and we're just happy and thankful for you all to have us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So just a little tip, we're going to start doing the pledge and the national anthem at every opening of the state board meeting. So that was incredible. That's how I want to hear it forever, the way that you guys say it. So now I will turn it over to Stacy Smith for special recognition.
This is the best part of the board meetings, is getting to recognize our kids, and what a great way to start us off today. So today I'm going to ask you two to go ahead and stand. We have two students from Bryant. Both of these students, Marian Buda and Kennedy Torres, were selected from over 1,200 applicants to receive Air Force Flight Academy scholarships. Each of those was worth $27,000, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Over the summer, Mr. Buda took his flight training at Purdue University, while Kennedy received her training at East Carolina University. These two young adults were the first in the Bryant School District to be awarded Air Force Flight Academy scholarships, and each has earned already their private pilot license. Congratulations. I'm sure our board would like to hear from you and hear a little bit about your experience. Kennedy?
For me, the Flight Academy experience was amazing, and getting the scholarship was the best honor I've had. It was unbelievable, the experience you get going and flying a plane and being able to do it by yourself. And you can get your private pilot license at the youngest age of 17, and it's amazing that I'm one of the youngest pilots in the world right now.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
How touching on what Kennedy said, getting that scholarship was a great honor, especially not just for me, but opening my career fields up into the world, going out there and see what opportunities are there to learn. That scholarship just locked in my choice of just becoming aviation. It just allowed me to pursue what I love the most, and just getting the opportunity of it. It's nothing like it or pay for.
Do you guys have any questions?
So do either of you have, aviation in your family history, or is this just something, the passion that you stumbled across? And it sounds like it's amazing. I think it's wonderful to have an opportunity to do things that you love.
So for me, there was nobody in aviation in my family. I'll be the first to be a pilot overall. And just when I was from a young age traveling around, the planes just fascinated me, and just wanted to pursue more, give my dedication over to them.
Mine is kind of the same as Marian. I don't have anybody in my family who's done aviation, but from a very young age, I've been fascinated by planes and the sky and everything, and it just feels like it is called to me. And
That's great. Thank you.
Ultimately, what kind of craft will you see yourself flying?
Ultimately, as like a career, I'd like to fly for the airlines, but in the Air Force, I'd like to go fly the C-130s.
For the longer goal, it would be the airlines also, but for the military-wise, my plan is to fly fighters for the Navy. Whatever they assign me to, I'll be happy.
It's nice to visualize that. Way to go.
Questions? Okay, well, we would love to get a picture with you, and then if y'all will stick around, we'll do a picture with everybody else, okay?
Good morning. I don't know if anyone can hear us, but y'all are muted. We haven't been able to hear anything.
we do, I want to take a moment to acknowledge our newest member of the board, Mr. David Peacock, down there on the end. He is representing the 1st Congressional District, and so we are so honored that you're here. I feel like the quality of people just keeps rising, so.
No pressure.
No pressure at all, but we're so honored that you would serve with us, and I would just tell you, this is gonna open up opportunities that are unbelievable and just some of the best of your life. So your voice is important, your vote is important, so there are no dumb questions, so feel free to always ask.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
All right, as we move on, are there any changes to the agenda? Hearing none. All right, so let's move on to our action agenda. First is the Poyen School District. So, Hope, is that you? We are looking for a standards of accreditation class size waiver, correct?
That is correct. Good morning, Hope Worsham, Assistant Commissioner of Public School Accountability for the Department of Ed. I am here to present a waiver request from the Poyen School District for a standard of accreditation waiver for class size. The superintendent is on the Zoom today and is prepared to provide information regarding their request.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't normally look like this. I just want to go on the record. This is homecoming week. So today is dress your favorite TV or movie character. So obviously I'm Wednesday Addams. Normally I look a little bit more normal, but we're having a great time today. So just wanted to start with that so y'all wouldn't go, let's forget about the waiver and boot this crazy lady out. So, you know, we have a purpose. So Thing and I are having a great fun day. Our district, it's a blessing because we are, experiencing rapid growth. And so we are very thankful for that. We have approximately about 25 to 30 new students this year. And for a small rural school district, that has made quite the impact. Last year, we also gained about that same number of students. So from last year to this year, we're up about 66 students. So it's been a rapid process of growth, and so we're at like 566 right now, so we're very thankful for that. But with that comes making sure that we are putting our best and our brightest in the classroom. We're also very fortunate because letter grades just came out, and our elementary and our high school both A letter grades. So we want to make sure that we are maintaining that consistency and that high level of engagement and instruction for our students. So right now, each of our classes are over 2, but again, we want to make sure we have that highly effective teacher in there, that we are preserving that fidelity with our HQIM, providing consistent services for our students. We already had a part-time paraprofessional that helped in the 2 classrooms, and for right now, we've already added another full-time, so it cuts down on that student-teacher ratio. I am, like this, I'm actually interviewing someone at 2 o'clock today that is graduating in December. So unless she runs for the door, we're hopeful that, we will have someone that is high quality in place whenever we come back from Christmas break. But for right now, again, being a small district as administrators, this is my 17th year as a superintendent. I was a curriculum coordinator before that, so we are all very active in the classrooms, walkthroughs. I've covered in classrooms. I've helped in the 2nd grade classroom. You know, we're all just making sure we are a very strong PLC school, so our teachers are collaborating together. I'm in the PLCs every chance that I get, so I'm able to be in there and assist with that. Doing walkthroughs or making sure student engagement is happening in the classrooms. We're tracking our student growth on our benchmarks, our attendance, our behavior data, and then also, of course, getting feedback from our teachers and our parents. So until we can we don't just want a warm body. We want the best. We want a high quality educator in this classroom. And hopefully we will have that by January. So if y'all know of anyone that wants to be, part of Poyen School District, then have them contact us. I would love to talk to them. So that's kind of where we are right now. Are there any questions?
I'll start. Ms. Keener, I think you're also on Zoom, so I wanted to acknowledge and start and see if you have any questions.
Yes, Good morning. Thank you. I am in Pittsburgh for a conference. I'm excited to join virtually. I did have a couple of questions. So first of all, congratulations on sort of bucking the trend of reduced enrollment. That's huge and exciting to hear. You mentioned that y'all have 2 second grade classrooms, and from what I could tell in the request, both are over 25 at this point?
Yes, both are 2 over, yes.
Both are 2 over. Okay,
Yes.
so the paraprofessionals that you have, I think you had one at one that's shared and then one that would be in one of the classrooms, or
No, she is actually in both classrooms. So we're able to kind of work it out where the one that we share is kind of alternating with the one that's full-time for second grade, so that during all that core instruction, it's cutting down that student-teacher ratio, and there is someone in there. And of course, we are very strong in inclusion too, so our special ed teachers are also pushing in. So we have at least 2 to 3, you know, licensed educators, you know, they're in the classroom, and then also our paraprofessional that's in there.
That's great. I appreciate the SPED teachers rolling in and working in the natural environment. I really love it.
Yes, me too. I am so pro inclusion. Yes, it's amazing. It's awesome.
Well, given the sort of bucking the trend that you guys are increasing enrollment, I wonder what, of course I'm hesitant to do it for more than 1 year. I want to see that, you know, I guess that the district is working to certify those teachers that are interested in that.
Yes.
You mentioned you're interviewing someone today, so are you considering splitting this into 3 classrooms?
Yes, and kind of what we're looking to do, and also just on a side note, we are going to start the pre-educator program next year in our district. So love to grow your own, so I think that that's going to help as well with that. So what we kind of look to do is looking at our data, looking at that lowest 25% that we have. What we're looking to do is to take that lowest 25, which would be probably about 8 students, and actually make a classroom with them, so that that teacher, who will be a brand new teacher coming in, but also working with the paraprofessionals, they can do a little bit more intensive, you know, breaking into even smaller groups and doing some individual assistance and stuff like that. So just, just kind of pulling that lowest 25%, so it'll make it a smaller classroom. It's less, you know, flipping over the apple cart halfway through the year, because that can be challenging for students. But I think that, you know, kind of taking those that need a little bit more intensive instruction in a smaller group setting, that through our new teacher and our paraprofessionals and our inclusion, that we'll be able to do that.
And so maybe I'm misunderstanding. I am a big believer in best practices and heterogeneous classrooms being the best place for all students.
Yes.
Explain a little bit more about isolating those that are performing at the lowest 25% in their own classroom. That gives me pause.
Would not be isolating. They will still, everything else will be part of that. We just want to be able to provide more intensive instruction for them. So, I mean, they're still right there in the building. They're still, you know, lunchtime, they're, you know, activity times, you know, music, PE, all that kind of stuff. Everything all the same. But all we want to be able to do is just to provide more intensive support for those students in a setting. So, you know, again, sometimes in the classroom, when you have some of your students that are, you know, in that lower percentile, and if you have 25 in the classroom, and then you've got your students that are kind of, you know, right here in the middle, and then you've got your, you know, your higher achieving, your GT students, it's hard to differentiate with everything and teach to every level. So if we're able to take some of those students that are struggling more, put them in a smaller group setting with that additional staff, that licensed teacher, paraprofessional, the SPED teacher pushing in, then we're able to provide more intensive support for them that we might not be able to do in a classroom of 25 that is all the way across the spectrum with, you know, achievement level. So that we can, and no one would know. Parents, you know, we're not saying, hey, we're picking your kid because this is where they fail. It would kind of be no different than like pulling out for RTI or something like that. where you're just providing that more intensive instruction in a smaller group setting so that we can help those students more and they're not left behind in a classroom of 25 with all the various ability levels.
Yeah, I understand the reasoning behind it, but I'm wholeheartedly against that idea. Just understanding best practice and the role of the teacher as differentiation being a core piece of that job. And I wonder if you're proving the point for the need for an additional certified teacher to split into 3 heterogeneous, mixed delivery sort of rooms.
And
that's all I have for now.
Definitely entertained. We were just trying to look at doing a smaller group setting so that we could provide more intensive services for those students that needed it. So we're flexible with that because again, we haven't even hired anyone yet, so we've not set anything in stone with what will be done.
Thank you, Ms. Woods. I'm going to pause for now and let someone else ask questions. Thank you.
I'll start on my right. Mr. Henderson? Mr. Bragg? Nope. Mr. Wood? Ms. Hunter?
So I'm sorry if I'm just a little confused about some of the requests here. So we have the second grade class who is large. There's, let's say, 54 students, right? And
yes.
So you're asking for this waiver for 3 years to follow that particular class all the way through?
I had actually gone back and modified that to just 1 year.
Oh, okay. All
yes.
right. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not to go back to what Ms. Keener was saying, but your mindset at least is for this third teacher, whoever he or she may be, to follow this class.
Yes.
And
yes.
then at least in your current thinking, it is then the lowest 25 percentile would be, or the lowest 25% would be kind of
just to finish out this year, just our second semester. Yes.
Oh, just the second semester. So that
yes.
would not be
Yeah.
following them into third grade.
No. This is just for this year to focus on those, and just in that second semester where we would have that full-time teacher in and hired just to assist more intensive with students in the second grade. Because again, the next year is third grade and we're looking at, what happens with third grade promotion. So, trying to provide that additional support next semester, just that one semester, for those students that are right there and kind of need that additional push, that smaller group setting and so forth. But when they go into third grade, we will start the year with it just being split between the 3 teachers like just we normally would, nothing different.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make one clarification with my colleague Lee Keener. So when it was clarified that this was just for 1 year, do you still retain your point of view?
Thank you, I appreciate that. I still very much disagree with the idea of separating based on achievement. I think, I don't, I think differentiation is a key role of every certified educator, and it gives me pause. I'm not quite settled on that point yet. I appreciate. I appreciate.
And thank you. I just wanted your expertise and knowledge to inform this, and so I was just trying to determine whether it was based on numbers or differentiation. And you've made that clear, and it's very helpful. Thank you.
And even in a classroom of students that are in that percentile, there's still going to be differentiation because, some of the students are going to be on the lower end of that and some might be right there, what we used to call the bubble students that would be, right there in that area. So there's still going to have to be differentiation. It's kind of like the way we do RTI because that's what you have to do with, response to intervention is take those students, look at what their need is, and then provide those services in that, smaller group setting. And so, we were kind of looking at taking that same approach to it for that one semester of being able to go in just like RTI and provide that more intensive support before those students went into 3rd grade and back into a regular setting.
Dr. Abbott? Mr. Peacock? No? All right. If there are no more comments, then the floor is open for a motion.
I move we accept the waiver.
I have a motion by Mr. Bragg. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Peacock. Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you all very much. We plan to keep our A's and keep on teaching our kiddos. So,
Thank you. Have a good day.
thank you too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, next we have the waiver request by Westside Consolidated School District. Another standards of accreditation. Ms. Worsham.
That's correct. So this is actually an Act 1240 waiver, which is requested for multiple years. The previous one was a 1-year request just for standards. This is a request for 2 standards, which is class size and teaching load for the Westside Consolidated School District. They have put on here 25-26 school year and going forward if approved. Typically we would approve these for 3 years, but that is a board discretion. And so Mr. George is here to speak to the school. This waiver request is to allow for some flexibility in their scheduling at their high school. And I'm going to hand it over to Mr. George to provide the information from the district.
Thank you for having me once again. My name is Chris George. I'm the superintendent at Westside Consolidated in Jonesboro. My high school principal is unable to join us. She's been placed on medical leave. So I have been here the last 2 previous years for this same exact thing. So I am more than happy to discuss this. So what we're looking for, and I'll kind of explain our scheduling. But what we're looking for is a piece of the overall process of our professional learning community scheduling to make sure that we have additional opportunities for students to get enrichment and interventions. So Ms. Dean actually made this, and I will try to follow some of that, but I have some of my own things. So again, it's a 1240 waiver looking at Arkansas Connections Academy, the ability to do this. It would apply to our 8th through 12th grade students. And again, 25-26 year going forward. The last 2 previous years, you've approved a 1-year waiver and asked me to come back. I had hoped to have done this in July of this year. We had some miscommunication on whether or not I would need this waiver anymore. Once the accreditation hit, showing that I had my 2 teachers that we'll discuss later, that they were flagging, we went ahead and set this up to come back to you. So again, it's to enhance student learning. It's to have this innovative schedule that we've had running for the last 3 years. And as I said, this is a part of the bigger piece. So a few years ago, I guess in 2023, like a lot of schools, we jumped off headfirst into the PLC processes. We took a group, which I was principal at the time, we took a group to White River School in Seattle. Actually, Sunday morning, we're leaving again. I'll be going with another group of our teachers, so this will be our 3rd group that we've sent through. When we went to that, we really started to try to figure out how we could get more time for our kids. Probably you would consider it a tier 2 level support for our students to have more intervention or enrichment time. So our school, our high school has used an AB block schedule going on 10 years now. Part of the change that we made prior to us going into this PLC process, we had AB, 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 and it just flowed. So our teachers essentially saw their classes 5 times over 2 weeks, 90-minute periods. 4th and 5th block is 45 to 50 minutes. Once we started looking at trying to make sure that each teacher saw each kid a similar time each week, we moved to where our Fridays, we have what we call Fast Friday. Every class meets for 45 minutes. So, and this is where we have the problem with the class load. So Mondays and Wednesday are A days, Tuesday and Thursdays are B day, Friday, every one of those classes meet. So as you can see, here is our schedule, how that lines out. Again, 90-minute blocks for 1 through 3 on the AB schedule. 4th and 5th are 45-minute blocks. So each teacher sees each kid 3 times a week. And again, that took away the opportunity to see one kid more than the other during that 2-week span. On our Fast Fridays, a lot of our teachers, and this is kind of modified over the last few years, the original intent was on the Fridays that our teachers would give common formative assessments. That way they could have time to meet on Monday, have Tuesday and Wednesday, and the original plan was intervention days. Last year, listening to our teachers, we slowed that process down because it was moving a little bit fast. Most of them still do the common formative assessments. They all have their scheduled meeting team time throughout the week, but we kind of let them pace out when the common formative assessment would be more naturally for them. So the time that the teachers have with the interventions, we actually added a day last year. So we went from 2 days of interventions enrichments to 3 days intervention enrichment. We also had Capturing Kids' Hearts. We moved away from that this year because we're pouring all of our resources into the interventions and such. So currently on Monday, they have homeroom during a 30-minute block, 9:30 to 10 o'clock. In those, they will get scheduled up on RTI. The RTI Scheduler is the program that we use. Teachers can talk about grades. We can send people to specific classes if if they've got some zeros or not handed in type things. But then on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we have the intervention blocks, the enrichment blocks, and then on Friday, we do not have those. Every class meets, so we lose that 30 minutes of block time. My teachers, the class load, I do have 2 teachers, and this has been the same 2 teachers for the last couple of years. They are well aware of them being over, but they have, this year, my art teacher, senior high art teacher, is 42 students over on Fridays only, and my computer science teacher is 19 students over, the 150 cap on Fridays only. Important to note, they never have more than 30 students in a class. So we're working with that baseline, but because we are meeting 2 different schedules on Friday, they bleed over a little bit. This waiver gives us the flexibility to continue on with the innovative schedule that we've tried to put together to continue to have our kids get this extra time. The blocks, again, 90 minutes, 4th and 5th are 45 minutes. On wherever their team meeting is throughout the week, they're using the data from the CFAs, they're using the data from their formative assessments in class to make decisions on who needs to come to these intervention times. Now, I don't believe it got in your packet, but over the course of 3 years, let me find my packet. Over the course of 3 years, we've tracked how many sessions that we've had from our RTI scheduler. This particular year, of course, we're only in October, we've had 827 sessions that have been made by teachers that students have the ability to A, enroll themselves in, or B, the teacher pulls them in. There's open and closed sessions that they can kind of run with that. Last year, there was 3,710 sessions created. And the first year we did this, there was 2,721 sessions. So a total of over 7,000 chances for students to get into places they needed to be at to help with some things. Of course, in our time, intervention time, say the math teacher, she may pull 5 kids in there. We don't want a large environment. Our non-core people they're gonna have more kids. Say my art teacher, he may pull in 25 people because number one, he's popular. Kids want to flock to him. But number two, they may have things that they're working on that's a longer paced assignment that they're able to get some extra time. So we've had great success with that. As far as our school district data, high school, we're a C school. Before COVID, we had 2 years at a B. When we came back from COVID, we've been, up until this year when some point values changed and stuff, we were a C. We were increasing each year. This year, we still fall in that middle level C situation. We believe there are some coding things on our end that will help our score. I know there was the update last week that came out. I believe we went up, a state average was like 5 points. Our score went up 9 or 10 points in that. So we are really have the focus on student achievement. Again, we are offering enrichment sessions here. So I want to point out that our AP scores over the last 5 years, this past year we had 54% of our students that took an AP test qualified with a 3 or higher on that, which is last year was 39%, the year before was 28%. So we are seeing some gains in our AP scores as well. So it's not just in that area, but that is a visible place that we can look, that we do see that there's some success that is coming with this. Everything that we have done is data driven in this process, and I will say that last year when I was here, one of the questions, not necessarily particular to the waiver, we have seniors who are on campus, they get what they need, they may leave school. The board asked, do I have data for that? At the time I didn't. And I wish I had this year's data, but as I said, my principal did not get that before she left. But my data for seniors, and this is in the 24-25 school year, asking, do you have a modified schedule? Essentially, can you leave early? Do you have to be here each block of the day? 81% said they had a modified schedule. 18% said they did not. Did you arrive late or early on A days? 31%, 46% said they arrived late or early on A days. B days was 25% and 44%. And then currently, what days do you attend? 84% was both A and B days. So we don't have kids that are just not coming one day a week. And 9% was one day or other. And what are you doing on those days? And 43% go to work. We are a working class community. A lot of our kids have to help their parents pay for different things that they need. 64%, they have the credits that they need. But there's also the vast majority of these kids, they're either going to work, as I said, or they're going and taking college classes on site at Arkansas State, or they are going home and doing, it's not a concurrent class. My son, for instance, takes college concurrent classes sitting at school in the computer lab, but if it's not a concurrent situation, they're on their own time and they're building college credit virtually at home. So they've got that option of how they want to build things. So we're not just not having people there. There's 18% or so of our people who are just, I don't know what they do. But again, that was last year's data. So with all of that, I appreciate your time. I'm happy to take any kind of questions. But again, this is two teachers. They understand that they've been notified 3 years that they have a few students over. These are not core classes that are over. And again, this has really worked for us to be able to ensure that every student sees their teacher an equal amount during the week.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll start on my left this time. Mr. Peacock, do you have any questions?
Sorry, this is the first time I'll ask questions sitting here.
That's okay. Welcome to the board.
And I apologize, I had feedback somehow through my system, so I'll fix that going forward. First off, I'm very familiar with Westside. It's a great school. Y'all do a great job, so congratulations on that. Is there an alternate path instead of a waiver that would allow you to, the teachers to have 150, to exceed the 150 students a day?
There's a small amount. I've got some guidance on how to figure that out. I believe one teacher would be $2,500 maybe. The other teacher would be about $1,500. And again, that is something that we've come here the last couple of years. That question has been asked, answered. It's a piece of our larger thing. And I will say, as I mentioned, I tried to get here in June, July of this year. And if the board, your position is not to approve this at that time, we could try to make small adjustments and that type. We can do a financial adjustment at this point. But it is something that I know that these teachers have had the conversation before, and they're not over their 30. So that seat still has a rear end in it, the same amount of time, over 90 and 45 minutes over those two classes that come in. Just on Fridays, it happens to have two rear ends, twice on the 4th and 5th block, and that's kind of where we get put over at.
So does the additional compensation present an undue hardship on the school district that would lead you not to want to do that for the teachers?
Not necessarily, no. And again, just as this is your first time on the board, this is my first time as superintendent. So I'm getting that picture this year as we go. Again, we have been very financially lean throughout the years. We are just starting a $15.2 million building addition to our high school that we had to put off a few years ago because we didn't have the money to do. We thought it was going to cost one thing, it was going to cost another. However, we are doing that with our money. We're not asking patrons to kick in at this point, and that will come down the road for other additions. But we've just, as a district, we've really tried to be financially lean so we can do things for our students. And again, this is a possibility that we could do. And you know, as the waiver asked, I wish we could do this without having to come back next year. I'm happy to keep coming back. I'm happy to go another route if we need to, and that would have been really easy in July. But this way to do it, we could still do at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Abbott? No? Dr. Arnold?
So the issue is that the community really endears Fast Friday, and I understand the 30 count.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me again the exact count on Friday. What is it?
So on Fridays, our art teacher, I guess 42 students over, so 192, and again that's never more than 30 in the class. We just mix the time up to where two different classes come in there, so he gets overloaded. Again, popular teacher, everybody wants him. It's an elective, so quite often, sometimes we have to push kids that direction because we have nowhere else in the schedule. The computer science teacher was at 19 students over. Now this was actually before the October 1 numbers. I did this a few days before that just so we could get this presentation turned into the board, and I had my information set. So it, you know, the basketball coach, nobody worries about how many students, or the football team, nobody worries about the number of students. They want more students. Football team needs more students. Same thing with art. He wants more students. He wants to expose the kids to this thing that he has going. Computer science, you know, that's, everything is pushing towards computers at this point. So that's why from 8th grade to 12th grade, and we only have one computer science teacher. So again, this we bleed over just a little bit. There was the first year that we came, there was an opportunity. There were a couple of core teachers. We self-adjusted on some things to make that not happen. But again, these are places kids want to be at.
Okay, so, and I'm just gaining information, so
Yes, sir.
thank you for your transparency. So one teacher has 192, the
Yes,
other
sir.
169.
Yes, sir.
All right. And so, how do the teachers feel about this?
In the past, like I said, I've had the personal conversation with them 2 previous years, just saying, hey, you understand you're over the limit. And again, they were fine with that. I did not have that conversation this year. Quite honestly, I'm not sure that my high school principal did, but I don't have that information.
Wow, I really appreciate your
Yes,
honesty
sir.
there. And then lastly, I think the intent of Friday is personalization, you know, with the, why it's structured that way and the catch-all purposes of the day. So I'm not trying to squeeze you at all, but it just stretches my imagination to see more personalization with these high numbers.
Right.
But what's your impression as superintendent? Are those personalization objectives accomplished or accomplishable with these numbers?
So the personalization comes more in the intervention enrichment. So that's Monday through Thursday. The Fridays is to make sure that every teacher sees their students an equal amount of time throughout that week. So you talked about community. Yes, our community likes that. I don't care if my kids go to college. I don't care if they go into the workforce. I don't care if they go into the military. If they're going to work at McDonald's, I want them to be the best hamburger flipper McDonald's has and then go be the manager. I have preached that to my students my entire time as high school principal. And in some of these sessions that we have community members who come in and they're providing work-related sessions. We have colleges that come in and provide those work-related sessions to give kids exposure to the things that they may not know that are out there for them. The Fridays where that really helps us we have a snow day on a random day during the week. You don't know what day is your next day when you come back, because it's like, do we pause it? Do we say it's a B day? Do we say it's now? You know, Mondays and Wednesdays are A days. You know, Thursday and Tuesday are B days. And you know, if you come on Friday, you have every single class. So that has really helped parents out. That has helped students out, being able to figure their schedules out, especially new students into the district.
Dr. George, thank you for your frankness.
I wish I was a doctor, but I don't ever foresee that I ever go back to school again. So I'm there every day, and never say never, but I do appreciate that.
I'll go with Chris then.
Yes,
Chris,
that works. I've heard much worse.
Ms. Hunter?
Yeah, so, I remember you,
Mhm.
so, and I remember this whole conversation. So the way it's a throughput issue on Fridays for these couple of teachers, I understand that. And that really doesn't bother me because, they're not, like you said, the classrooms individually are not oversized. I do continue to how are we really measuring this kind of non-traditional approach that you're taking? I mean, I know there's a lot of schools that do the AB block scheduling, but this it's kind of a hybrid in a way. And, are we seeing, you said you were a C school, and, are we seeing real growth in your students?
So we, as I said, previous to this year, and now we're on a new scoring rubric, and I was actually pushed into duty. I was in Hope's standard settings in Little Rock last spring. My assistant principal was supposed to be there with medical issues that she had that is related to this. She could not attend, so I was there to be able to see how that was built and to see the wide variety of thoughts that were in the room. But we have been progressing each and every year, and then now we have a new ball game that we're playing. We have some miscoding things, ROTC. Love the ROTC kids that were here. Air Force ROTC, that's what we have. They had their first 2 pilot people. We've had 5 that have been able to get that designation over the last several years, and it's amazing. But some miscoding when we start talking about the merit and distinction on the diplomas. There's some things there to clean up that's going to bring our grade up. But all these interventions and all these enrichments. And enrichments, as I said, it's you can see some of the scores that we're having in our upper level kids, that they're getting more exposure to, you know, it's not just we're bringing in the kids that need help, we're trying to push kids further ahead as well. So we catch that in our AP scores. And I will go on record here, I do not believe that a score is an indicative of the students that we have. Our teachers work hard, our students work hard, our parents are great. It is what it is. We will continue to try to increase that score because we're competitive. We don't like seeing a C. If my son brings home a C, you can do better than that. We're at the bottom of a mountain. We're continuing to try to find ways to climb up that mountain, and this avenue helps. And again, all of our resources we're throwing into PLC. I'm about to go to the Solution Tree building to be with some of my teachers there. And again, we're going to White River. We're trying to get as much exposure to different levels of our teaching population as we can, so they can start bringing that magic into their grade level classrooms.
And so this begins in 8th grade, right?
This particular thing, yes.
Yeah.
We're an 8 through 12 building at our high school. And so when 8th graders come to us, they fall under this block schedule with a Fast Friday.
And I know the question was, does the community like it? Do the students like it?
Students like it. And of course, some don't know any difference, because they, as I said, this has been going for like 10 years. So it was before I was assistant principal. I think this is my 9th year of administration. I will say that through the course of the last 3 years I've been here with you, as I said, we try to run a really lean operation. So if we tried to go back to the standard 7 period a day, like what we had, we're gonna fall under this situation, because what we essentially have here is an 8 period day on Fridays. So we would have to hire more teachers. We would have to do the things. So this block schedule, I don't know the reason it was originally built, but it is something that our students, you don't like math, then guess what? You might only see that math teacher every other day. But you also have, if you're not doing so well in that, you also have the opportunity to go to that math teacher during those other intervention times, and you not quite get it from that teacher. We've selectively, especially in our 8th grade and Algebra 1, we've got 2 teachers that kind of split the load. You don't get it from this one, you can get pulled in intervention to this one and maybe hear it a little bit differently.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Wood?
Mr. George, welcome back. I too remember you, and I like you a lot. I appreciate you coming down here. You're very competent, and you're a great representative of your school district, and you present good information. I am a little critical of block schedulings. There are 2 things that I've grown to hate, and that is AB block scheduling and 4-day school weeks.
Yes, sir.
I think they're both of the devil.
I completely agree with the 4-day. I don't understand how anybody can look at performance and say we can get better coming 1 day less a week.
Yeah. A few years ago, one motivation for us choicing our student from one school to another was because the school that we left had a AB block schedule. You can imagine my annoyance when the school we got to adopted an AB block schedule, and the school we left went back to a traditional 7 or 8 period day. I'm curious, what like evidence do you have that AB block scheduling is effective academically for students?
I will tell you, like I told you last year when you asked me how many students go home and play Xbox, I don't have that. Yeah. I can try to get that. And as I did, I was prepared last year getting those numbers. And y'all had also mentioned coming into my district and walking around and seeing the things that we've done. Yes, and we would always welcome you. I wanted that information to be able to give to you specifically and say, hey, this is where our kids are at and what our kids were doing. And you know, and as I said, that block schedule, especially for the senior, graduation requirements, we require as a district 2 additional credits over the top of what the state requires. But in this block scheduling, we have the opportunity to gain credits a little bit quicker. So when you have a senior who gets there, again, they can start these college credits, they can start going to work, it allows a little bit more flexibility on that. Back in the day, we did a 7-period schedule. You had, I guess it was 7th block, there was work study that students could go out to go get a job at that point. But this offers a little bit more flexibility down the line to our 11th grade student who we can still offer that work study to, but we know that we're going to be able to get their credits by the time they're a senior. So that's studies on which is best. No, we've not done that. We've just seen that this has worked in our school district.
And Mr. Wood, just because it's educational jargon, as Lisa pointed out, it's a hybrid block schedule that's being presented here.
Sure.
And so there is such a thing as ABA on Friday.
And that's what we had before this whole process started, was it just went into infinity, AB.
Yeah.
And we were missing a class. So the math kid on 1 week is only going to see their teacher twice. The next week they would see them 3 times. So that has, you know, the minutes that our students are seeing their teachers, they're equal. We're above the number of minutes that we need to have district-wide on our calendars and all that kind of stuff. But again, our middle school, they're starting to go to a version to be able to work in some of their intervention stuff. It allows some flexibility in that as well.
Is your middle school on an AB block as well?
Their 5th and 6th grade have not been. Mr. Allen, my principal, is looking at possibly 7th grade. And of course, we're also trying to look at bringing the acceleration pieces to our students. So right now, high school level, we've only had Algebra 1 available to 9th graders. Next year, we're pushing it back down to 8th grade. That's, you know, credits for 8th graders traditionally for us. I don't know about other schools. We would have a kid take a credit in 8th grade, they're not mature enough, and then it blew an honor graduate thing 4 years down the line, 5 years down the line. So, but that is something with the new standards of scoring and things that we've got to look at, and everything is data driven, and we're trying to make best decision everything we do for our kids, and this one has worked.
Yeah. Well, I'll push back just a little bit. It doesn't sound like it's data driven, because you don't.
I understand what you're saying. Yes, sir.
But I welcome it, and I'm not picking on you at all.
Yes, sir.
You're not the only person to come and not be able to provide evidence
Yes,
that
sir.
AB blocks are better academically for students. I truly just wonder, what is the purpose of this phenomenon? And you said you don't know why they adopted it 9 or 10 years ago. I suspect it's budgeting. I don't know, but you're here asking, you know, because you've got 42 kids on Friday, you got 42 too many kids on Friday,
Right.
and it's going to cost a little more money if that teacher were to be paid for those. And so I suspect that it's financial. I don't know.
It
but
very well could have been, and I was middle school dean of students at the time. I did not have a seat at that table,
Yeah.
so I don't know the conversations that went into it.
I just maintain that I don't think that kids, certainly middle school students, but even high school students, can maintain good focus for 90 minutes in math or science or, you know, dense topics. And I think we're expecting a lot of kids to succeed in that environment. I think college kids struggle with that on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And I would say science specifically, there is a great opportunity, and our teachers do a pretty good job at it, that they've got 45 minutes, say, of direct instruction, and then they've got 45 minutes of lab or whatever it is, so you're able to get that in. This is not intended to be double the amount of time to give out more worksheets. So that 45-minute class that they have, so in the modified block that we do, the fourth period math class, that teacher is teaching the same material over 2 days as they are teaching that same level on the other day. I completely understand what you're saying.
And I just, go ahead, sir.
No.
Well, I would just want to make sure that also the intent of this isn't really to vote on block scheduling or not. It's to vote on Fast Fridays and the overload, and considering the alternatives of either more pay or whether it's fair or not to the teachers, how they feel. And so, but because we could have a forum on block scheduling versus the 7 period. So I just wanted to make sure before I vote, I know what the issue is, and for me, it still comes back down to numbers on Friday.
And I will say, Mr. Wood, I completely respect what you're asking me, and I don't have it. And like I've tried, you asked the question last year, and you were the one that threw the most questions at me the first year. I'm happy with that, and I understand that. I try to find what I'm asked of going forward. So this would.
I would welcome anything that enlightens me on the value of block scheduling. I know that we're not voting on block scheduling, and this is about Friday, but block scheduling is a critical reason why you're here. That's why I bring it up in this discussion. So let's talk about Friday and the waiver request and the alternative that was mentioned a minute ago. $4,000 a year. It would cost you to pay these 2 teachers under the other alternative. You don't have $4,000 to pay the teachers extra?
Yes, I do. And I am in more of a position to know that now more than ever, as I was previous. And again, this is not devaluing the teacher. This is putting value to the process that we are trying to get more kids, quite honestly, into their classrooms on these days, because I want these teachers to see their kids the same amount that the other teacher gets to see them. And it's again, I go back to the coaches and those type of classes. The art is not the English. Now, that's not saying that the art can't do something to help with the reading. That is saying that these kinds of classes should draw more people to them. And it's just we don't have the staff to take on that load at this point. But yes, we could feasibly do that.
All right. I'm gonna vote no on the waiver request because I would prefer you to take the route that pays the teachers a little more money for the extra work that they're doing. It's not a rejection of your Fast Friday. I like your Fast Friday. I like the tweaks you've made to it this year. I feel like you've given it a little more stake, and so I like what you're doing. I'm going to vote no, honestly, for the teachers.
And I completely respect that. Yes, sir.
A little more.
Yes, sir.
For the work. That's all I got.
And that was good, thank you, because I was hoping that we could get to that point as well. That does relate then to the question of overload and what the recompense for that is. And that seems to really take care of it short term, and then these broader issues for later on. So thank you for narrowing our discussion to that, Jeff.
Please. Well, I mean, just kind of we are not here to debate block scheduling or anything like that, but my question to Ms. Smith is, I mean, and we study 4-day, 5-day, have there been studies around block scheduling?
There's a mix of studies out there, but we'd be happy to pull some of the most recent data and see what we see on that. I think the clarification that I wanted was when we were talking about the art teacher and that she has 192 students, he is giving currently 192 students grades throughout the week. They have 192. It's not just on Friday, right? They have 192 students assigned to them for AB, or is it just on Friday?
He has 192 students assigned to him on, and I don't have that number with me, but on, say, Monday and Wednesday, he may have 142. And on Thursday and Friday, he may have 140, whatever. He's never going to hit that number on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, because he is essentially seeing more classes, 45 minutes as opposed to the 90.
Right,
and again, back to the seat.
But his personal caseload for grading, giving feedback is 192 kids.
Yes, and as I said at whatever point, it was the intent was originally common formative assessments, not really doing new teaching during those days, get your students in, be able to map out a plan for the next week of what was going to happen. Now, we've listened to our teachers, and some of them would rather have that 45-minute time to do some things and more naturally place the assessments elsewhere.
Right. No, thank
Yes.
you for that
Yes.
clarification. I've just seen it where they had Fast Fridays or something like that, and your arts and your computer science and things were used as enrichment, and additional kids were being placed. But
Mhm.
this is their.
This is the actual class.
This is his
Right.
caseload.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mr. Bragg?
The extra class, is this a curriculum that they've already taught that day, or does it require extra prep? Is it
Are we talking about
the Friday?
The Friday, well, the Friday is they're continuing with curriculum that they've already taught.
Okay.
They can give unit tests, they can give formative, quick snapshots of things. They could give, the summative stuff. But, and again, that was the original intent, but the pacing of different things was not conducive to how the teachers were doing it. And we've really listened to our teachers throughout this process of we know we want to grow in this direction. I need your help to make this beneficial to you. So that's teacher input, but yes, this is could be considered an additional class throughout that day, but it's the same. You just see the student for 45 minutes.
So it's not really requiring additional prep?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
No, sir.
I guess I'm a little confused over the pay part. The waiver is strictly to allow the student numbers.
To go over 150, and it would be
The
for that
pay
Friday
is-
only.
The pay is not relevant to the waiver?
The pay, to my understanding, is a way around asking for the waiver.
There's-
And there's a formula, Brooke has sent me that I've kind of plugged in, that we would look at I think there's 36 or 37 Fridays in the year that we would plug this formula in, and that's kind of where I got my numbers on the pay.
There's legislation out there that allows a teacher in secondary to have a caseload of 150 if the district provides additional compensation.
Okay.
And so if they get the waiver from having 150, they don't have to compensate.
And the waiver, the 1240 waiver, is based on the charter school that is able to do that without the additional.
So whether you paid them or not, the curriculum and the time would all still be the same?
We could keep it the same, and honestly, going forward to next year, if we're allowed to do this, we can make some changes on our end, and it may be kind of how we did the core classes, that we selectively tried to limit maybe some numbers that got placed in there, so we didn't get this. We could look at it on these two particular classes. Again, it's these two teachers every single year, and but again, I hate to limit the kid that wants to go be Bob Ross and do art, but you would have to cut down however many students per class to be able to make Fast Friday work without it.
So if you didn't have the waiver today, you would have to start paying them?
I would get the approval I'd need to get the approval from my board to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So, is it fair to say that if you begin the compensation, if you go the compensation route, then you don't have to come back here?
I believe so.
I think
yes.
that's my biggest issue with this whole thing, is we keep coming back for the same
Mhm.
issue, and there's an easy solve for it.
Okay.
Mr. Henderson, though, asked your question.
Yeah, obviously a very popular topic this morning. Mr. George, appreciate your presentation. I too have been here the last couple of years when you presented. One thing that I particularly was hoping to hear more of is the data. I mean, weekly, the department teams are meeting with principals, assistant principals. Monthly, there's a PLC meeting on the district level. And I was hoping to see, obviously, more data, or hear more data information. And when you think about that, when you vote, you want to vote on the tangibles. And it's hard to phantomly vote on what you can't see or hear.
Right, and I'll say, so weekly are K-12, pre-K-12, or pre-K does it as well. They have their team meetings where they're talking about the things that they've went through that week and where they want to assess and that type of thing. Every other week or as needed, our district level, we meet and we bring some good things that are going on. Our principals bring the things that are going on in those. Our principals, assistant principals, they try to be in as many of these meetings as they can be in. I was at 2 yesterday. I'm as first year superintendent. My high school people know me, but I want to be in those rooms and hearing the conversations that our K through 7 are having. So I'm showing the value that we're placing on this as well. And again, we're building. We know it's not perfect, and we keep trying to take steps to make it as best we can.
Ms. Keener, do you have questions? No? Okay.
I'd like to call the question.
For motion, please. All right, so having no further comments, then I need a motion.
I'll move to deny the waiver request.
I have a motion to deny the request by Mr. Ward. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hunter. All in favor of denying the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion is, the waiver is denied.
And just to be clear, the concept is good. The delivery of how we make that concept happen is
Right, we're not
yes.
moving on your schedule.
Right,
So we're
yes.
just saying you don't get the
Okay.
waiver. That's all we're
Okay,
saying.
great. I can live with
Go
that.
back and do that.
And truly, last 3 years, I appreciate your time and you hearing us out as we've tried to go through this process.
Well, we appreciate you. I would
Yes.
actually like to come see you in your school.
You're always welcome. Again, it's not perfect. We have our things that we could do better, but again, every decision that we're trying to make is for our students.
Mr. George, I hope that today you said several times that your art teacher is very popular and students want to be in their class. And I hope this is an opportunity to present that to your local board, as this is a great teacher who's in demand by lots of students, and make the case for them to get the additional stipend for the caseload that they carry. It's not an opportunity to remove students from, but it's an opportunity to actually recognize that teacher and allow him to continue to do great things. So,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you.
Yeah, I hope I was clear in my vote that the purpose was my hope was not that you would reduce the students in the class, but you would just pay the teacher more
Correct.
for doing
Yes, sir.
a great job.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
At this time, Courtney, have they started over the Capitol?
They are just about to start, so it's completely up to you all if you want recess and go.
How long does it take us to walk over? 10 minutes? So they are getting started, like right now? I mean, if it's my decision, I say keep going, but, all right, let's keep going. All right, so then, our next is going to be the petition for the Ozark Mountain School District to close its Bruno Pyatt campus. Ms. Ford, I think you're presenting.
We're actually going to have our legal team present,
Mr.
if that's
Schultz,
okay.
if
So
that's
yeah,
fine.
Mr. Schultz will be coming up.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the board. This is pretty simple. I know we took care of one of these not too long ago, but this is a situation where there are certain school districts classified as isolated school districts, or isolated schools within a school district. That district has voted, the district board of directors has voted to close with that isolated campus, and by statute, because there was one dissenting vote, this board has to ratify that decision. It has to be filed 30 days prior to the board meeting, which it was. That's why it's on this agenda rather than the prior one. And the standard, well, two standards. One, it can't negatively impact desegregation, which is not an issue here. Number two, the state board shall only approve a motion to close an isolated school district or part thereof if the closure is in the best interest of the students of the school district as a whole. So if there are no questions of me, I'll turn it over to the district and they'll present to you.
Good morning.
Thank you all for allowing us this time today. I'm Jess Knapp, and I am too a first-year superintendent of Ozark Mountain School District. Accompanying me today are a couple of our board members, Mr. Travis Freeman and Mr. Andy McCutcheon, who are the president and vice president, respectively. So please allow me to initially provide a general overview of Ozark Mountain School District. and some context for this request. Ozark Mountain School District comprises 4 schools: Western Grove Elementary, which has a population of 166 students, Ozark Mountain High School, which has a population of 241 students, and both of these are located at the same campus in Western Grove, Arkansas. St. Joe Elementary, which has a population of 85 students, and Bruno Pyatt Elementary, which has a population that's been reduced to 15 students. And the reduction in population is the general reason why we're here today. Just going to kind of summarize here. The consensus among a lot of long-standing district employees and stakeholders is this has been the result of several events, beginning with the consolidation of the schools in 1973 and culminating with the August 6, 2025 school board meeting in which the Ozark Mountain School District Board voted 6-1 in favor of closing the Bruno Pyatt Elementary campus. We're here to request this campus be closed, and we have a plan to integrate these students into the elementary schools as seamlessly as possible, transport these students in a manner that is as efficient as possible, and utilize the staff who are currently serving this campus. We're already taking measures to integrate and acclimate the students to the other elementary school within Ozark Mountain School District, primarily the St. Joe Elementary campus. And we're prepared to undertake the aforementioned process in a manner that's conducive to the holistic well-being of our students and that has our students' best interest as our paramount objective. I'll go now to kind of a historical overview. In 1973, the Bruno and Pyatt schools consolidated and the current building was constructed. In 2004, Bruno Pyatt, Western Grove, and St. Joe consolidated to form Ozark Mountain School District. In 2020, the high school basketball teams consolidated within the district. They were combined. In 2022, the Pee Wee teams did the same. And in 2023, our high schools combined to form Ozark Mountain High School. In 2024, our Head Start program closed at Bruno Pyatt. And as I mentioned, at the August 6th board meeting, the OMSD school board had voted 6-1 to close the Bruno Pyatt Elementary. We have had an enrollment decline over the last several years. Our current enrollment's 15 students, and some of the data that we presented is a projection of 17 students, so let me just clarify that. In 2022 and 23, we had a total of 158 students. That's when we still had an elementary and a high school at Bruno Pyatt. In 2023-24, we had 57 elementary students. In 24-25, 27 elementary students, and that's dwindled to the current population of 15 students. We serve students in grades 1st through 4th, and we have 9 students in first through 5th grade. We serve students in 1st through 5th grade. We have a combined class of grades 1 through 3 where we have 9 students, and we have a combined class of grades 4 through 5 where we have 6 students. We're staffing 2 full-time teachers and 1 part-time sped teacher at this point as far as certified staffing goes. In Ozark Mountain School District, we do have letter grades of B across the board except for Western Grove Elementary, which has a letter grade of C. The simulated letter grade for Bruno Pyatt was a B. These students will also be introduced into an elementary school that has a B grade as well. Financial realities, our expenses above revenue in the year of 25, we were $631,541 above revenue, and we're projected to be $315,878 above revenue this year due to the cuts that we've made. We don't have a dean of students there now. We have a principal serving both campuses. As I mentioned, we've reduced our staff. We do have a mold issue, which is primarily contained to the basement. We've made sure that we've taken all of the safety precautions as far as our students go, but this is an area that we use as a safe room, so that is a concern. As far as transportation and safety routes go, We're prepared to transport these students in as minimal a time as possible. The most that the time that will be added to the current routes is 20 minutes, and that could be reduced a little bit with the paving of a county road. We're already transporting meals there, so that's something that won't change. We are prepared to reassign our staff. We're actually exceeding maximum capacity in 3 classes at Western Grove, and we've scheduled to accommodate those needs, but we can definitely use these teachers, and we have a plan to do so. So, you know, in sum, you know, this isn't really financially responsible to continue this campus, and as we indicated, it was almost a unanimous vote to close, and so that's why we're here, is just to present our case and petition for the closing of this campus.
Thank you. Mr. Henderson?
You mentioned transportation, 20 minutes. When running those routes, are we talking about the 2 routes, 1 bus, or are we talking about several buses? I'm just curious to know
Yes, sir.
what the logistics look like.
Our current routes, the first route, elementary students are only on that bus for a duration of 15 minutes. So we would be adding 20 minutes to that time.
Okay.
The second route, elementary students are only on that route for 32 minutes duration. So it would add 20 minutes to that one as well. We do have 5 students who are transported by parents currently, and that arrangement would continue. We've been very transparent with our stakeholders about this, and they're all privy to the fact that this could be something that is likely to happen. So we've communicated with them about everything that we could think of.
In regards to geographics, how far approximately are the schools?
Bruno Payette is 17 miles from St. Joe. After a local county road is paved, that's going to take 3 to 4 miles off of that route. Sir?
Is that gonna happen, the paving of the road?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They've indicated to us that it will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Bragg? Mr. Wood?
I don't have any questions. These questions are difficult for any community, but the numbers are just overwhelming to me. 14 students costing $630,000 per campus at $45,000 per student.
Yes, sir.
That tells the whole story to me.
Yes.
So I'll support it.
Ms. Keener, do you have any questions? No? All right, Ms. Hunter?
So just one point of clarity, and I think you addressed it, just
Yes,
want, this transition is not gonna create any kind of, overage on the teacher-student ratios, or
No, ma'am. No.
teachers will transition.
The majority of these will be going to St. Joe, and we have plenty of space and teacher capacity to accommodate those needs.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Nope, clear for me.
I kind of agree with Mr. Wood so far. I did one point of clarification. I haven't heard yet, like, what the board member who voted against it, what his concern was, and then I would love to hear, I mean, just the concerns of the community, if you've heard any.
Very few. I mean, there has been some resistance, I think
mostly
out of just loyalty and allegiance to their alma mater.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Did the board member live in either Bruno or Pyatt?
Yes, sir.
He represents that zone.
Yes, he
He or
does.
she.
Yes, he does.
I have a couple of questions. You talked about the integration plan for the students. Could you just elaborate on that a little bit, on how you're going to help them be comfortable transitioning to a new school in the middle of the school year?
We've already taken some measures to do that. They've been attending our Terrific Kid assemblies and our award ceremonies, pep rallies and such. And also, last year there was a week-long period in which there was no water at the Bruno Pyatt School. And we experienced a similar situation this year. So they've already they were integrated during that time as well. So, those are some measures that have been taken. Other than that, you have two pretty small, close-knit rural communities where everyone kind of knows everyone else, and we're all, pretty well acquainted with each other's students including.
Okay. The second question, you talked a lot about the cost. What will be the cost? Is there a plan to sell the existing facility, or take it off the roll so that it's not a financial?
We know that there are some regulations that we have to follow as far as making it available for a charter school unless we apply for a waiver. I've spoken with representatives from North Ark, from the Hospital Association, the North Regional Medical Center, and some other non-educational entities. There doesn't seem to be a lot of interest in it at this time because of the proximity of the location. It's a very rural location, but we're going to continue to look into that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Did you have a question?
No.
Oh, okay. So my one question, was there any thought to moving them over at semester, letting them finish out the semester and then moving over?
That's our plan.
That is the plan, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent.
Yes.
I don't have anything else. Okay. Does anybody have a motion?
I move to approve the petition.
Okay, I have a motion by Dr. Abbott to approve the petition. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Arnold. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you.
I just want to make one comment.
Yes,
I'm so
ma'am.
impressed with the approach and the sensitivity that you've taken, you and your entire team have taken on this. I know it can be kind of uncomfortable in the community, but it seems like y'all have taken great care. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Thank you all.
Good day.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay. And I think our last action item is approving the 2026 State Board of Education meeting dates. So go ahead and elect.
Not much of a presentation, but as you know by law, you all are required to set your meeting dates for the next year. We've stuck with the standard second Thursday of the month, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
So I have a question, just
Yes.
maybe not for this round,
Fine.
but, is there a requirement that we meet every month?
No, there's not. It is entirely up to you all, the frequency. There are some occasions where, let's say you met every other month on a regular basis, we might have to call a special meeting to meet certain timelines of things, but that would be occasional, not necessary to be every month.
Understood, thank you.
Motion to approve the dates.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Henderson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Abbott. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, dates are set.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to consent, which there are none. No, just the minutes and. All right. Does anybody have anything to pull from consent? If not, I will need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda?
I have a motion by Ms. Hunter. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Bragg. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, consent passes. And I think at this time, that is the end of our action agenda. So let's take like a 5-minute break so we can get packed up and we'll reconvene.
I stood in the hall and monitored, but as a result, I lost some hearing. But that's okay. That's okay. No, good morning, Arkansas State Board members, Deputy Commissioner Stacy Smith, Chairperson Adrienne Woods, and all others present. As you know, I am Charlene Wright, a Pine Bluff School District stakeholder, and appreciates the opportunity to present public comments. Our district accepted the will of the Arkansas Department of Education to allow the Pine Bluff School District to maintain its appointed limited board, contrary to Act 633 and 2023. We have accepted Act 503 and Act 90 in 2025 to mandate Pine Bluff School District to elect 4 board of directors in spring 2026 and to have public comment at each board meeting. Our belief is that Pine Bluff School Board and administration is intentionally defying and failing to comply with Act 503, Senate Bill 1724, to mislead and deny the Pine Bluff School District residents their lawful rights to elect 4 board of directors in March 2026. We are being denied transparency by the administration to publish correct election correspondence using the Arkansas School Boards Association guidance for holding elections in 2026 and 28 according to Act 503. We have been given 2 different tables that are non-compliant with Act 503 and the Arkansas School Board Association guidance. The last table omitted requirements of original appointments, elections, and original term expirations to mislead the Pine Bluff residents in their election and opportunity to run, and omitted the election of Zone 5. We have petitioned for our democratically elected board in the election of all 7 board members since our return to local control for an emergency meeting. And we felt that our election in spring 2026 would be a lifeline for our efforts to complete local control with democratically elected board members of a total of 6, with 2 elected in 2024 and 4 elected in 2026. We solicit you to assist the Pine Bluff School District to obtain our right to 4 elections in March 2026 according to Act 503, Senate Bill 1724, with our residents having only 34 days remaining to circulate and return petitions. Again, thank you for allowing me to have public comment.